I think that I've now, at 63 years old, suddenly owned that it's not a bad thing to speak your mind and be who you want to be.
Like photos with her and Prince Andrew way back in the day when she was like in her early 20s.
She is a malignant narcissist who cannot get enough.
In this fictional scenario, it all begins with silence, not from the press or the public, but from the palace itself. Deep in the digital shadows, a mysterious video clip starts to circulate, grainy, brief, and instantly volatile. It appears to show Meghan Markle and Prince Andrew speaking alone at what seems to be a private event, with no official date, no royal announcement, and only 23 seconds of unscripted exchange between two of the monarchy's most polarizing figures. And in this imagined narrative, that was all it took to set everything in motion.
Did you tape it?
Absolutely, yes. And it was given to me and I got it in the car and then returned it straight away.
In this fictional storyline, social media exploded within hours as commentators scrambled to verify the circulating footage, hashtags surged, and online creators dissected every frame while headlines hinted at betrayal. Yet, amid the chaos, one question echoed: why were they speaking at all? In this imagined world of modern royalty, where nothing is ever accidental, the timing couldn't have been worse. Meghan, portrayed as launching a new public campaign on mental health and empowerment, stood in stark contrast to Prince Andrew, depicted as a withdrawn figure still overshadowed by past controversies. The idea of them sharing what appeared to be a meaningful exchange carried explosive symbolic weight. The fictional palace offered no denial, no clarification, not even a whisper, and behind closed doors aides were described as alarmed, knowing that optics in the monarchy mean everything. But this moment wasn't merely a viral spark, it was the beginning of a deeper narrative thread. As online investigators dug in, they didn't just uncover a single interaction. They uncovered what they interpreted as a pattern. In this creative retelling, Meghan's path toward the royal family is framed not as a fairy tale, but as a deliberate strategy, with fictional reports suggesting she had taken an early interest in royal circles long before the public knew her name, attending charity events and appearing alongside figures tied to aristocratic networks.
I would have gone, oh shush, no, I'm not a rebel. I'm really good. I'm really okay. Everything's...
In this fictional narrative, rumors swirl that Meghan had once studied the lineage, protocols, and inner workings of the Windsors not as an admirer, but as someone preparing to navigate their world. Then an even stranger detail surfaced. An old archived guest list from more than a decade ago showing her name at a private fundraising dinner where Prince Andrew was also listed. No photos exist, no press coverage survived, no official recap was ever published. But if, in this imagined scenario, Meghan and Andrew crossed paths long before Harry entered the picture, what would that mean for everything people thought they understood? Was it coincidence? Or was she mapping the terrain years in advance? Speculation grows as the fictional timeline suggests that Meghan's rise may not have been spontaneous, but studied, with Andrew knowingly or not woven into that early trajectory. And if that's true within this story's world, what role was he playing? Or was he, perhaps, the one seeking her influence? This imagined connection becomes even more volatile when considering Andrew's long shadow, years of scandal, public distrust, withdrawn duties, and the heavy weight his name now carries. So when the viral clip in this fictional account shows him speaking with Meghan, the world doesn't just see a conversation, it sees optics, risk, and reputational fallout. For a figure like Meghan, portrayed as having carefully rebuilt her public identity through advocacy, media ventures, and independence, even a moment beside a controversial figure becomes combustible. And the questions mount: why were they speaking? Was it casual or calculated? How long had they really known each other in this imagined timeline? Behind closed doors, the fictional palace is depicted as scrambling emergency meetings, late-night strategy calls, advisors dissecting the footage frame by frame, because in this story, the issue has grown far beyond two individuals. It has become about perception, power, and the monarchy's fierce grip on control.
Is said to have his eye on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's former home, Frogmore Cottage.
In this fictional narrative, When two of the monarchy's most controversial figures appear together in unsanctioned footage, the shock waves ripple through a centuries-old institution, but what makes it worse is the timing. The clip surfaces just as Meghan is preparing to relaunch a major public initiative. With media appearances scheduled and charity campaigns underway, her polished image as a reinvented, independent figure taking center stage. Suddenly, that entire brand risks being swallowed by a single silent moment. Yet in the story, Meghan says nothing, no statement, no denial, no clarification. Critics see confirmation. Supporters see composure. Her inner circle insists it was nothing more than a brief, harmless exchange exaggerated by scandal-hungry commentary. But fictional palace insiders are less convinced, especially as Andrew is depicted circling Frogmore Cottage, a property formerly tied to Meghan and Harry, igniting whispers about coincidence, strategy, or quiet symbolism. Some imagine Andrew, isolated and resentful, reclaiming ground once held by the couple who challenged tradition. Others speculate whether his brief exchange with Meghan carried undertones beyond politeness. Rumors intensify as observers suggest this moment is not an anomaly, but part of a larger pattern. Online, the frenzy erupts. TikTok, Reddit, X, and YouTube dissect every frame. Body language experts weigh in, and theories multiply. Overlapping event lists, side-by-side comparisons, match dates, all unconfirmed but wildly viral. In this fictional world, some believe Andrew may have quietly mentored her. Others insist he sought her out as a future disruptor who, like him, never fit the mold.
Told to vacate Windsor's Royal Lodge. A source close to the ex-royal told People that Sarah is going to be moving out and into a separate home. Contrary to reports, she has never asked for a...
In this imagined storyline, speculation reaches a boiling point as commentators begin asking whether this supposed early connection is the real reason the palace had always seemed distant toward Meghan, not because of race, nationality, or modernity, but because she allegedly aligned with the wrong royal long before her romance began. And through all the noise, one detail stands out. Meghan still isn't denying anything, not the sightings, not the events, not the footage. To some, her silence is dignity, to others, strategy, but to the fictional palace, it is panic. Behind the scenes, sources claim senior aides are scrambling to plan damage control, not over what happened, but over how it looks. Because in the world of royalty, perception is reality. As the speculation burns hotter, a darker question emerges. What if this isn't about scandal at all? What if it's about power? Royal power in this narrative doesn't always wear a crown. It whispers in corridors, shifts in alliances, and hides behind silence. The more experts analyze the footage and the lack of response, the more they ask, who benefits? Is it Meghan reclaiming relevance as her media projects fade from headlines, or Andrew nudging himself back into public consciousness by linking to the most controversial, most visible figure the family has produced in decades? Either way, the palace has a dilemma. According to leaks, advisors craft two contingency plans, one to reinforce Meghan's independence and minimize the moment, and another to distance her quietly without sparking conflict. But even that is complicated because in this fictional world, Meghan is no longer a working royal, and that lack of institutional control is exactly what makes her, in their eyes, unpredictable.
Charles has very much been dragged into this. The king has been heckled.
In this fictional narrative, Meghan's brand is depicted as self-made, her alliances unpredictable, and unlike Andrew, who is portrayed as forced into silence, she still has platforms, cameras, producers, and the ability to shift the story if pushed. That's why insiders in this imagined world describe the palace as walking a tightrope. They couldn't condemn her and they couldn't defend her, so they defaulted to their oldest strategy, silence. But silence doesn't kill a story, it feeds it. Soon the public began asking a more dangerous question. What if this meeting wasn't recent? What if it happened before Harry? In this fictional scenario, that possibility unsettles the palace because it recasts the royal narrative with implications of foreknowledge, strategy, and early positioning. One anonymous staffer recalls Meghan quietly attending fringe events near Windsor social circles long before her romance went public, always present, seldom photographed. Another suggests she may have had access to elite social networks that overlapped with Andrew's now tainted circles, not proof of anything, but enough to spark speculation. Online, that speculation mutates into obsession as timelines are rewritten and old photographs re-examined. Critics claim this is the smoking gun that reframes Meghan not as someone who stumbled into royal life, but as someone who navigated it with precision, while Andrew becomes, in the public imagination, a symbol of the system's vulnerabilities. Yet the deeper people search, the murkier the picture becomes. No confirmed dates, no audio, no context, just two controversial figures appearing together long enough to set the narrative ablaze. In this story, Meghan's silence grows heavier as her team declines interviews and the noise escalates.
Ferguson publicly apologized for taking abusers' cash and vowed to cut ties with him.
In this continuation of the fictional storyline, Meghan's allies offer vague denials while she remains silent, seen by some as poised and by others as fearful. Behind closed doors, sources describe Harry as furious and protective, determined not to let another media storm consume her after everything he has already lost and fought for. But this isn't a tabloid frenzy. It's a battle of perception, and the footage isn't fading. Then comes a new leak, not new video, but testimony. A former palace contractor, anonymous yet supposedly verified by two outlets in this fictional world, claims Meghan and Andrew attended the same private donor dinner in 2014, with no press present and Meghan allegedly requesting to sit near a senior royal figure. The source confirms no conversation, no wrongdoing, only proximity. Yet, that alone detonates the narrative. If true in this imagined context, it suggests Meghan sought proximity to the institution long before meeting Harry. Not sinister, but intentional, strategic. And that idea alone is enough, within the palace's fictionalized world, to redraw the entire story. No accidental romance, no fairy tale coincidence, just planning, awareness, and a long view of the royal landscape. In this final chapter of the fictional narrative, the implication that Andrew may have played even an indirect role in Meghan's early navigation of royal circles suddenly pulls him back into a web the palace had long tried to cut him out of. That is why the silence now feels deafening. As headlines spread across the world, one truth becomes unavoidable. The footage, brief, unclear, lacking context, has already changed something. Not because of what people actually saw, but because of what they believed they saw. Meghan Markle, the outsider turned Duchess, finds herself once again on unstable ground. Her carefully rebuilt image begins to wobble not from scandal, but from suggestion. Andrew, long shadowed by controversy, is dragged unwillingly back into the spotlight. Together, they create a narrative neither wanted, but neither can escape. The palace remains motionless, calculating fallout it cannot control, while the public dives headfirst into dissecting every detail, rewriting chapters of a royal saga that refuses to die. Because in this fictional world of modern monarchy, even a flicker of connection becomes a flame, and perception is everything.